Hello, welcome back to my makeshift studio here as things progress in the world of moving to a different state, to a different place, and moving in stuff, etc., etc. But I'm glad that you've joined me. And once again, it's very, very important what you're taking the time out of your busy day to do right now, namely to pay attention to your spirituality, to this thing that we refer to as our spiritual practice. And whatever that looks like for you, you've found, rather, this video has found you anyway. You've stumbled across a video all about A Course in Miracles, which is a self-study curriculum that is for everybody, literally for everybody. It's universal in theme, therefore, it makes no difference what your religious or spiritual background is or is not. That matters not at all. It really doesn't make any difference. It doesn't make any difference what your age is, what your gender is, where you come from in the world, how many languages you speak. Doesn't matter. You're here. That's what matters. And what is true for each and every one of us is that there's a message here over the next few minutes from the Holy Spirit, who, by the way, is not outside you. Oh no, not at all, but rather our inner teacher, part of our mind. So let's dispel the notion that we should be afraid of our inner teacher because he appears to be, or she, or it, or they appear to be something outside of us. There is nothing outside you. Nothing. We're invited to appeal to this part of our mind, part of us, the Holy Spirit's part of you. We're invited to appeal to this part of our mind for guidance, for support. And when we do, we receive that instantly. Question for each and every one of us as practitioners that appear to be here running around looking something like this, Homo sapiens sapiens on a wobbling, spinning ball of rock, hurtling through space and stuff. So it appears, right? While we appear to be here, our job is to relax and trust the guidance of our inner teacher. And we must ask for it, and it will be given. It is given instantaneously. In fact, it's given already. It's simply waiting for our acceptance of this gift. Profound stuff that you may not have learned in church if you went to a different church or were part of a different religious or spiritual tradition. Yeah, well, welcome to A Course in Miracles. Again, it's for everybody. So, what we're talking about today is chapter 29, section 1 of the text of A Course in Miracles, which, interestingly enough, considering what we've just talked about, is entitled Closing the Gap. See, the gap is something that does not exist. There is no gap. There's nothing outside you. So how can there be a gap between you and something else or someone else? That is entirely in our feverish, weird, wild, and yes, psychotic imagination. We believe there's a gap between our brother, and by our brother, I refer to everything, everyone else, and ourselves. We think that there is a gap there. We're convinced, we've made ourselves convinced, so we see it everywhere. That's not seeing things as they really are. This course will help us to see them as they really, truly are. In truth, there's no gap, there's no separation of any kind, and there is no time, there is no place, there is no state where God is absent. Not at all. That's worth repeating, isn't it? There is no time, there is no place, there is no state where God is absent. He's everywhere. In fact, God is the only reality. So, how could he be absent anywhere, from any place, any time, any state of being, any location? Ever present, everywhere. So, God is total. Another way of looking at that, which is very important for us as we learn this material as course students. Love, i.e., God, is total. Love is total. And that may sound kind of obvious or even kind of trite, maybe a little cliched, because there are plenty of people that say, hey, love is all there is. It's the only thing that's real. It's all about love, man. Peace. Yeah. But let's take a couple of moments here and consider the import of this, what it really, truly means to say and to know that love is total. This means something very, very incredibly deep and profound because love is total. This means that there is nothing to fear. Fear is, in fact, the opposite of love, but love is total. Therefore, there's nothing to fear. If love is the only reality, what is there to fear? If God is the only reality, and He certainly is, what is there to fear? Nothing. So, our plight, if you want to put it that way, our predicament here in the world is it doesn't seem like that is the case. What we're saying here sounds all well and good during a workshop or when you read about it or when you watch a video such as this one. And there are millions of other videos, not just on this channel, but others as well. I mean, there's some fantastically erudite and connected course teachers in this world. It sounds well and good when you're in the mood to hear it, when you've specifically carved out a portion of your day or your evening to hear the message of the Holy Spirit. Yeah, makes sense then. How about when you get up from whatever you're doing right now, watching this video, and someone yells at you, or you become agitated or angry? What then? That's why it's so important, as we often state here, that you take the time to pay attention to this message. Because love is total, which does mean that there's nothing to fear. All of the stuff that we fear, and it may take some very, very threatening guises here in the world. For sure, it does. What we're talking about is pointing ourselves to truth. So, a curious thing for many people, I happen to think that it's brilliant and true and right on about A Course in Miracles, is that it doesn't talk about what we should do in XYZ certain circumstance, certain situation in the world. It's not a code of conduct, of behavior for our worldly interactions, for our interactions at work, with our families, with the government, with the economy, whatever that may look like. This course doesn't tell you what to do in specific situations, save one thing: forgive. Love is total. God is the only reality, and we're a part of Him. Not apart from at all, but a part of, because there is no separation of any kind. So we've managed to delude ourselves, to deceive ourselves, actually, into thinking that God is capable of hatred, that He's somehow perfect love, we're talking about, somehow capable of throwing us out of the garden, as it were, of ejecting us from paradise. No, God doesn't do hatred. Perfect love is incapable of hatred. It doesn't know it and doesn't recognize it. Because we've managed to think that we can escape from perfect love, we've created this imaginary gap ourselves. We've made it up in our mind, thinking that this little thing here is someplace we can run and hide from ourselves. No wonder all of our stuff finds us. You could try, and we've all tried, or this conversation would not be necessary. I mean, certainly it would not be taking place if we hadn't done this multiple times. I mean, millions, billions, who knows, a lot, too many. Yeah, we could choose to stop it, but we've wanted to remain separate and suffered as a result of that. We have built walls around ourselves to protect ourselves from something or someone that appears to be outside of us, but it never protects us from ourselves. You could try to wall off your entire being. You could try to wall off your entire country, but it won't protect you from yourself. Hmm. Why? There's nothing outside you. The wall, the barricade, symbolizes your own fear, which remains in your mind. It cannot be ejected to the other side of the wall, to people who don't look like you, to another group of people that go to a different building on a different day. And therefore, we think, yeah, we own the truth because they go to their building on a Friday and we go on a Sunday or a Saturday or any other day, and they don't. Therefore, they're wrong, we're right. So, what happens when we do that? We're still afraid. One of the most powerful ideas, in fact, it's considered by many to be maybe the central idea of A Course in Miracles, is that ideas leave not their source. Thoughts remain in the mind of the thinker. We can't eject our own thoughts of fear and guilt and project them. Project them. That's projection. We put it out. We can't stand it. Can't stand to feel hate, guilt, love, right? We can stand to feel love, but we want to get rid of all of these horrible feelings of guilt and fear. So we project them. We try to put them off on somebody else, yet they remain in our mind. Now, speaking of love, just a second ago, it came up. Love remains in our mind too. All of our loving thoughts remain in our mind. Our forgiving thoughts remain in our mind. They do not leave. Our joyous thoughts, our helpful, happy thoughts, our forgiving thoughts remain in the mind of the thinker. So the choice for each and every one of us becomes this: what would we rather have in our mind? What would we rather experience? Love or fear? Forgiveness or condemnation? Light or dark? Life or death? Hmm? Which is it? We have this choice. If you say that you don't have a choice, you have chosen, you've chosen fear. As in fear to make the decision that you have the power to make right now in the present moment. We have this ability. It's a huge monumental power. So, yes, if you're thinking it, you're more powerful than you could possibly ever imagine. And I hope you can imagine a lot. Multiply that by a lot. This is what we do each and every day in the present moment is we show up and maintain some form of awareness as much as we're capable of in the moment of our mind and our experience. Anything that's not joyous, completely, and I mean totally and completely and wholly joyous. Anything that's not totally joyous is an opportunity to forgive. Anything that is joyous, loving, forgiving, blissful, and fantastic, limitless, is symbolic of our own limitlessness as the Christ, singular, the Son of God, singular. This is not a term that refers only exclusively to Jesus. It's all of us, God's creation, the thought of God. Guess what? We were just talking about this idea. Thoughts remain in the mind of the thinker. Ideas leave not their source, capital S. Where are you in truth? Exactly. This is why they call enlightenment awakening. This is a dream, and we're waking up from it. So, in closing, let's come back to something that we were talking about just a few minutes ago. And it's one of the things that is definitely a highlight reel for A Course in Miracles. It's the fact, and it may annoy you to no end, who knows, right? I don't know. Maybe it does. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it overjoys you. But this course is not a guide for how to do X, Y, Z in the world. It's not a prescriptive nor proscriptive, happily, guide for behavior. There's no 10 commandments of thou shalt not. You'll notice Jesus is not saying that. Dudes long ago said that. He didn't say that. This does not tell you what to do in a given situation other than forgive. That's it. That's the practical centerpiece, and it's very powerful. So, consequently, this course is not about having a more productive, fancy, and fantastic, blissful and glittering and wealthy life in the world. Though that may be your situation, and maybe it's not. And it may come about as a result of your practicing this. I mean, it's not the point. It's not the point. Getting more money or more influence or more power in the world is not the point of A Course in Miracles. But let me ask you something and ask yourself this. When you're more loving, when you show up as more forgiving, what's likely to happen? Do you think people are going to pay attention in a positive way? Yeah, they are. Of course, some of them are going to get triggered and may say something to you, or they may just walk away, think you're nuts, woo woo, crazy freak with this weird Course in Miracles thing. Whatever. That's an opportunity for forgiveness for you. Let them be. I mean, this requires us to show up and do the work, which is why more people aren't doing it. That should make sense to us as adult learners, right? Because people want the easy way out. They want the enlightenment in a weekend workshop. They want trillions of dollars without doing anything. Yeah, they want to awaken without doing anything. Well, we have something to do. Remember, this is a self-study curriculum. So, with that, I thank you very much for tuning in. I welcome your questions. This dialogue thread here on YouTube, the comment thread, I mean, is the perfect place to ask questions. So please feel welcome. Do that. Yeah, please. If you've got questions. And please subscribe too, if you don't mind. I'd love to have you join us. If you haven't already, a number of you have recently, so thank you. The prompt is going to be over here in the corner of your screen. Just click that icon. Subscribe, join us. There are several videos that appear each week. This is a makeshift studio, but I have the time. So let's talk about A Course in Miracles. I invite you to join me back here for the next video, and I will see you very, very soon.